afternoon of reflecting on the parable of the rich fool. The Bible has got a lot to say about folly and wisdom. And contrary to the views of the world, the Bible doesn't measure folly and wisdom using our mental faculties or based on how intelligent one is. But the issue of folly and wisdom hinges around knowing God. When you go to the wisdom literature and the book of Proverbs, we are told that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And even in the book of Psalms, we are told that a fool says in his heart that there is no God. This parable, the parable of the rich fool, warns us against the sin of covetousness. It shows us the meaninglessness or folly of materialism. The rich man in the parable teaches us about three kinds of folly, or three things that can make one to be foolish. Number one, the folly of thinking things bring meaning to life. The folly of thinking things bring meaning to life. Someone said of a man noted for his selfish attitudes that William was bounded on all sides by William. In other words, whatever way he turned, William saw only the interests of William. The man in this parable is like that. There is not one hint in the story that this rich farmer cared for anyone else. He was entirely self-focused. What he wanted was more and more wealth, and when he had it, he would find happiness. The wealth was for no other cause and no other person. More and more for him, and then his life would be complete. And dear friends, is this not the philosophy of this world? That the world is looking for happiness in the wrong places. The world is looking for happiness in wrong places. And what we learn from this parable is the fact that things don't satisfy. Dear friends, Augustine got it right back in the late 4th century when he wrote, "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." And that is true of us today. If you do not have Christ, if you are not a Christian, you will be restless until you find rest in our Lord Jesus Christ. That's the first point we learn. But observe, in the second place, the folly of assuming you know the future. The folly of assuming you know the future. All through my childhood, I heard Million Kambuli Senior, my father, and Mom talk about where they would retire. I loved the place, and Dad and Mom loved it even more, and planned their retirement there. It never happened. One night, Mom returned home to find Dad had died. No warning, no signs. He just died. She was 55 years old. In that one night, everything changed. As the old saying goes, man proposes, God disposes. Dear friends, we see here the fact that we don't know what tomorrow holds. And this rich fool, boasted about, tomorrow, boasted about the future. And we must learn from this rich fool that the future is in the hands of God. So it was for the man in Jesus' parable, as I said earlier on. And Jesus said, this very night, your life will be demanded from you. God's words, or Christ, our God's words were emphatic, specific, and certain. Death would be immediate, and the fact that it would happen was completely beyond the man's control. That night, the man's life would end, and there would be no negotiation and no vote. This was God's decision, period. Two obvious lessons we can learn. First, you dare not invest all your hopes in a future you do not control. But second, you must live ready for any day to be your last day. These are two things we can learn under this heading. Death is an appointment you will never miss, dear friends. If we do nothing to be ready, no wonder God says, you fool. We must be ready, to die. The third point is the folly of investing materially but not spiritually. The investments the rich fool made determined his future too. Sadly, they were bad ones. Nothing in the parable ever suggests this man thought about others, and nothing suggests he thought about his own mortality or eternity. He was guilty of selfishness. The man wanted to be self-sufficient. With money would come power, and especially the power to decide everything. He reckoned he would do nothing. He could even do nothing. Observe what he says in verse 19, that he was going to be eating, drinking, and being merry. So, dear friends, that's what we learned from this text. Amen.